This is the story of how the multi-billion-dollar breakfast cereal industry was born out of a 19th century religious movement aimed at suppressing human sexual drive and curing digestive illness. Long before cold cereal became a convenient household staple, radical health reformers developed it under the firm belief that bland, unstimulating grains provided the ultimate medical remedy for impure urges. 19th century Americans consumed heavy, meat-focused diets loaded with rich seasonings, which triggered a nationwide wave of severe indigestion known as dyspepsia. What followed was a wave of medical reform that directly tied physical eating habits to moral purity. Radical dietary ideas entered the culture when a Presbyterian minister named Sylvester Graham stepped forward in 1829. Graham preached that rich foods, sugar, and meat overstimulated the body, directly inciting sexual desires while encouraging self-abuse. Fighting back against these physical urges required a strict vegetarian diet centered around plain foods, which led Graham to construct the unbleached, unsweetened graham cracker to curb passions and preserve chastity. 30 years later, in 1863, a doctor named James Caleb Jackson expanded on those exact principles while treating patients at his sanatorium in Dansville, New York. Jackson manufactured Granula, marking the creation of history's very first cold breakfast cereal. Heavy graham flour formed the core of Granula, rendering the baked pieces so hard that critics mocked them as wheat rocks. Eating the cereal required an overnight soak in milk just to make it chewable. Battle Creek, Michigan became the epicenter of the movement when Dr. John Harvey Kellogg took control of the Western Health Reform Institute in 1876, renaming the facility the Battle Creek Sanitarium. Operational standards at the resort followed strict health doctrines set by Ellen Gould White, founder of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Dr. Kellogg viewed masturbation as a severe evil that damaged the mind and body, leading directly to memory loss, poor digestion, and insanity. Following Graham's earlier work, Kellogg insisted that rich or highly seasoned meals excited the human sexual organs. Neutralizing those physical urges meant enforcing a completely bland diet that eased the digestive tract while subduing the libido. Spelling out his medical philosophy in writing, John Harvey Kellogg warned his readers about the physical dangers of a rich diet. His words warned that a man living on pork, fine flour, rich pastries, tea, coffee, and tobacco might as well try to fly as curb his passions. Overeating and gluttony, he argued, guaranteed physical emissions while destroying chastity, which meant sufferers needed fruit, milk, oatmeal, and graham flour to recover from sexual excesses. Putting those theories into practice, Kellogg began constructing specialized health foods for the patients staying at his facility. A baked grain recipe emerged from his kitchen in the late 1870s and early 1880s under the name Granula. A legal dispute with James Caleb Jackson over the trademark forced a quick revision, so Kellogg altered one letter, renaming his creation Granola. What nobody expected was that the discovery of flaked cereal would happen by complete accident. Working alongside his brother, Will Keith Kellogg, the physician left a cooked batch of wheat and corn sitting out until it went stale. Rolling the ruined grain through machinery did not produce flat sheets as anticipated, but instead shattered the dough into thin flakes that turned crispy once toasted. News of the breakthrough sparked an industrial boom across Battle Creek, bringing aggressive competition right to Kellogg's front door. That changed when C.W. Post, a former patient inspired by his stay at the sanitarium, launched the Postum Cereal Company in 1895. Accusations swirled that Post had stolen proprietary recipes from Dr. Kellogg, yet grape nuts hit the market in 1897 and became an immediate commercial success. Despite what the label suggested, grape nuts contained no actual grapes or nuts, earning its title from the glucose sugar formed during baking and its crunchy texture. By 1902, local entrepreneurs had gone daft over cereal, flooding Battle Creek with at least 30 new manufacturing companies. The problem was that many of these rushed ventures lacked proper quality control. Storage issues caused Norca's malted oats to turn gray and spoil on store shelves, and Flakes came out so sharp and brittle that consumers cut their mouths trying to chew them. While new businesses surged, a bitter dispute erupted between the Kellogg brothers that broke their partnership apart. Will Keith Kellogg recognized that adding sugar to the recipe would give their product massive commercial appeal. Dr. John Harvey Kellogg adamantly refused, viewing added sugar as a direct attack on his pure health principles. Driven by commercial ambition, W.K. Kellogg walked away from his brother to build his own business. February 16, 1906 marked the founding of the Battle Creek Toasted Cornflake Company, which allowed him to market sweet, crispy cornflakes to mainstream consumers. This riff reveals a major historical misunderstanding about how cereal was originally sold to the public. Popular internet stories claim cornflakes were explicitly advertised as an anti-masturbatory morning meal, but that framing is false. Dr. Kellogg kept his libido suppression theories inside his medical sanitarium, while commercial advertisements sold the cereal to average families as a simple, digestible health food. Eventually, W.K. Kellogg's commercial model won out, steering the entire industry toward mass consumer sales. Massive conglomerates like Kellanova, W.K. Kellogg Company, General Mills, and Post dominate the market today. Global market figures reached $41.1 billion for breakfast cereal as of 2024. A projected compound annual growth rate of 3.5% from 2025 to 2030 puts the expected global market size at $50.6 billion by 2030. Regional dominance belonged to North America in 2024, with a 40.0% revenue share, while ready-to-eat options accounted for 86.72% of total revenue. Decades were spent adding sugar and artificial flavorings to distance cereal from its bland roots, but consumer habits are now reversing course. Recent sales data shows shoppers returning to plant-based, multi-grain products rich in nutrients. Nearly 2 centuries after early health reformers sought to calm the American diet with plain grain, the market has circled back to the foundational ideas that started it all.
Wow. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like. It is the best way to support the channel. Leave a comment letting us know what food history we should cover next. And make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on so you do not miss it. Thanks for watching.